Welcome to Raw, live tonight from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm Jim Ross, here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I love Fort Lauderdale, JR, especially around spring break. Yoo-hoo!
Well, spring break only comes once a year, but Raw brings the excitement with it wherever we go, and tonight is no exception.
Uh-oh! Talk about a hole you don't want to find yourself in.
No kidding! This will rearrange your anatomy. Excellent counter. What ring presence.
He saw that one coming.
What a reversal.
The Undertaker's been in WWE for 13 years now, JR. And I think it's really starting to show here tonight.
I don't know what match you're watching, King, but the dead man looks as good tonight as when he first appeared in the WWE.
Not sure if it's your eyes or your brain that's shot, JR, but that's ridiculous. The Undertaker should quit now, while he can still retire with some dignity. Oh boy, these fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
I feel like we shouldn't even be talking during this match, JR. We should just silently admire the masterpiece, like we were looking at a sculptor in a museum or something.
If you want to zip your work for a few minutes, King, I won't complain. But don't expect me to show Chris Masters any more respect than he's shown to the WWE superstars and fans.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear.
These superstars sure aren't going easy on each other here tonight.
What'd you expect, King? This isn't ballet, you know.
Oh, really, JR? Gosh, tell me more about your in-ring experience.
Well, I've got a pinfall victory over Triple H to my credit. How about you?
He turned the tables on his opponent with that one. This match has the potential to be an instant classic, but I think these fans are too stupid to realize it.
How can you say that, King? How can you insult the intelligence of these WWE fans?
Well, I heard that we gave them an IQ test, and the results came back negative.
Folks, I've got to apologize for the King here tonight. He must have gotten up on the wrong side of somebody else's bed this morning.
Yes, that was an incredible move. What strategy?
Strategy my Oklahoma ass. That's cheap, plain and simple.
Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job. Is there any superstar in WWE who can go toe-to-toe with that man, The Undertaker? I don't think there is.
Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? There's no way The Undertaker's gonna win this match. Just look at him.
Oh, I am, King. I'm looking at one of the most awesome forces I've ever seen in a WWE ring. And I think the dead man's going to remind everyone tonight why they call him the Phenom.
It looks like they've slowed the match down a little. I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted with the old expression, fools rush in.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
I think I've eaten a little too much good Oklahoma barbecue in my day, King, to hurry anyway. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can, JR, and I don't think we'd have it any other way.
This is a classic matchup, King. I'm so glad the WWE fans are getting the chance to see it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I'm getting to see it too, JR. I just wish they'd pick up the pace a little.
Oh, no. This is classic old-school wrestling at its finest. You, of all people, should be able to appreciate that, King.
Wait a minute, JR. You're not trying to say that I'm old, are you?
Of course not, King. Although there was that rumor going around about your social security number was 1.
You know, JR, everyone goes on and on about how great The Undertaker is, but I think he's overrated. It takes more than black lights and some dry ice to impress me.
And how about going 14-0 at WrestleMania, King? How about being a 4-time WWE champion? Does that impress you?
Now, come on, JR. I'm not saying that the dead man doesn't have 1 or 2 impressive achievements to his name. I just think he's taken too seriously for a grown man who dresses like it's Halloween every day.
1 or 2? There's a reason they call him the Phenom King. He's been one of the most dominant WWE superstars for his entire career. He came in at the top, and he stayed there ever since.
Well, The Undertaker might have had a pretty good ride, but I think 13 years is his unlucky number. I think it's only a matter of time before someone buries the dead man. Wow! Listen to these fans, JR!
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all. These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, and that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might wind up risking your career for a single match.
But at the same time, King, no one makes it up the ladder without pushing themselves to the very limit. It's a very fine line to walk. Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? Well, then, why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way. I can already tell this is going to be a great match, and I don't want to ruin the ending for you.
You're too kind, King. You're also full of horse manure, as far as I can tell. Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. So, JR, are you enjoying the match so far?
Yes, I am. I think these superstars are putting on one hell of an exhibition here tonight.
What's your favorite part of it so far?
I don't think it's happened yet. My favorite part of the match will be when you quit yapping and let me enjoy it.
Now, JR, keep your words soft and sweet, because you may have to eat them later. This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these competitors, that's for sure. If looks could kill, somebody would be pushing up daisies right now.
And you gotta admit, that makes for a much more interesting match, JR.
It sure does. But I just hope these superstars can settle their differences in the ring and leave it at that.
I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes with the price of admission.
You ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like when you're in the middle of a slobber knocker. And if you don't...
Oh, man. Don't tell me he's about to do what I think he's about to do.
Tombstone pile driver. My God, what an impact. Can his opponent kick out of this pinning predicament?
This match all night, JR. I can't believe it's finally underway.
This has been a hotly anticipated contest, and as far as I'm concerned, it's living up to the hype.
No question about that, JR. The fans certainly seem to be into it, that's for sure.
And when it comes down to it, that's all that matters. I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well,
it looks like he's taking his opponent for a ride, King.
And that's one ride you don't ever want to take. The last ride.
I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you sure they can afford it, JR? Here's the cover, JR.
Boy, when you look at these superstars, it really drives home the fact that Raw is the dominant brand of sports entertainment.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, JR. There's not a superstar on the SmackDown roster who can hold a candle to Raw's finest.
I wouldn't go that far, King. There are quite a few SmackDown superstars who I'd love to have on Raw.
Oh, come on, JR. Why would you want to lower the tone of the Raw locker room by bringing in some losers from SmackDown?
King, next time you call the Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit losers, make sure you give me some warning so I can get the hell out of here before you do it. I don't want to be any part of what that's going to get me.
I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
His opponent's down, and now he's sharing a piece of his mind.
He's going to have to eat those words by the end of this match, JR.
I think this crowd has decided to exercise... My God, would you look at the power of this superstar?
Here we go. Tombstone pile driver.
And now a pin. This could be it. 1, 2, 3.
Here's your winner, The Undertaker.